has ebbs and flows. It's like, do the people still know Black Tusk in Savannah?
Yeah, and I think as the listener we forget sometimes like the anxiety that can come with it because we're just watching and listening and all that. But I was gonna actually ask, does live performance produce anxiety or does it reduce anxiety?
For me, it relieves it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I'm playing live, I don't like it's the one like zen moment to where it's just like nothing else in the world matters. Like all I care about is like what's happening at that moment, and I want to say like that might be like the only place in the world that happens for me because I have so much anxiety and stress about everything in my life that's like the one place that I don't like. I can literally be like I don't give a shit about anything else.
That makes sense.
Yeah. You can feel it like right before you go on. I still get like the jitters.
Yeah.
Even though I played like hundreds of shows, you still feel a bit of nervousness, and then you start playing, and it all kind of melts away.
Yeah.
So, sorry to bring it down again, but what's your worst performance, and what did you learn from it?
That's always a great question.
That's a really good question. I love that. Oh man, worst performance. Okay, all right. I was in a band, and we were like a cathartic punk band. And usually our singer would come over to me and pick me up on his shoulders and like kind of carry me around the stage while I play guitar. But for whatever reason on this particular night, he decided he was going to try to lift me up on his shoulders by picking me up. Like he put my head through his knees, and then he lifted me up. So I just went tumbling over his back.
Oh no!
It just completely flat out on stage, and that was the end of the set. Like it was just like completely killed the whole thing. It was like, what just happened?
For sure.
Like, let's never talk about this show again.
Yeah. Well, he must have been talented to be able to sing and have someone on his back.
Yeah. But the guitar would have been like pressed into his back, so I couldn't even play anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry if that was like a long-winded story.
No.
But...
No. That's a really good question. There's been a lot of like catastrophic shows where it's like I'm not gonna name any like previous bands like singers falling off stages and just like you're on stage just like holding your head in your hand and just like oh my god I can't believe this is happening right now and there's every note so often somebody's like too inebriated to actually continue the show and somebody just walks off the stage and he's just like I guess that's it and it's
always something that like you did that makes for a bad show. It's never like I don't know, like I played for like one person, and you're like somebody would be like that was a bad show, but if somebody's there to watch and listen, then it could be a good show.
Yeah. I think the audience would be able to come back from it more than you guys would have performing. But
I don't think I've ever played a show that the badness of it was based on the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's always been the band's fault.
But I'm sure they love you anyways. So the album actually reminds me of being young, being energized, and seizing the day. So how do you maintain that energy? Or do you see it that way?
I feel like playing this kind of music kind of keeps you in that, we all have that youthful angst and aggression, and I don't know, I feel like music, if you play music that's energetic and everything, it kind of keeps you young and makes you want to keep playing that way. And like I've always been a fan of fast music, like very fast drums and really aggressive bass and just distorted guitars. So it's just keeping that, keeping it alive and just keeping that aggression, the energy and everything. And that's like that you still see like 60-year-old punk metal dudes at shows, and they're just having the best time in their lives.
Yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't know. You were talking about like the album, and I think it's like more like positive in a weird way. Like I feel like a lot of the albums, especially like they're always dark and not even like necessarily negative, but there's like a brooding to them. And I feel like this album is strangely more positive because I feel like we're finding a balance like in our lives now as like older guys in the music scene.
Yeah. Like that get up and be motivated, and like even the name The Way Forward suggests that there is a way forward,
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. We don't just shut everything down. Yeah. So I get that. So you've put out a few videos, Dance on Your Grave, Breath of Life, Bushfire. Can you tell me about that experience making them?
Brushfire was something the label just put together. It was more just a visualizers, like, here's the record cover. It was like the official announcement of the record, so it was like, we didn't really do anything for that one. Dance on Your Grave was pretty fun, though, because, like, we filmed that, in the studio, like, in this studio where I'm at, and, like, this is where we recorded the record, in my house, and, it was fun to, like, have everybody back and, like, just we're pretty we're just like that video just shows like what we're like hanging out and playing music together, and we that was a lot of fun, and eating pizza, drinking beer, staying up till 4 a.m. It was great.
You could tell that it was like authentic.
And then the Breath of Life was our friend Alex, who Andrew was actually in a band with pre-Black Tusk called Hammered Shit. And she was the singer. She lives in New Orleans, and she put that video together, and like she was just like, hey, I want to do this, and so she like put that video together for us and everything. But yeah, Alex has been awesome. We love her to death. Anytime we go to New Orleans, we always stay with her. And I was actually like, so Athan, the original bass player of Black Tusk, who passed away, Athan and Andrew were in a band with her called Hammered Shit. And it was right when they broke up that James was getting out of a band called The Bricks, and that's when the Black Tusk started.
Okay, yeah, that video gave me nostalgia for some reason. It just made me think of like, I don't know, growing up in the clovers and stuff around here. Just, I don't know, made me think of that. The 90s, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually, it's kind of funny because I often don't like the look of a lot of guitars and that, but I found in your video, I actually really loved the look of the guitars, and I thought, did they get out like their best looking guitars and drums and everything for this video, or is it the best sounding ones too you had in the video? Or what do you
the Dance on Your Grave video?
Pardon? Dance on,
That's what we use. That's what we play with every night, pretty much.
The guitar that I played in that video is one that I recently had just acquired. It's a dude out of Miami that makes guitars and pure Salem guitars, and like it showed up, and I was like, man, this guitar is great, and so I was like, cool, I get to use it for the first time in this video, and it was awesome. So, and then it's just like Derek plays that T40, the guitar Andrew plays, that's like his guitar that he has toured with, and so
very cool. So how did you get your nickname, Scary? If you want to share.
So. It's not a great story, but so I was in high school, and so I've been scary since I was 18 years old, and it was a joke band, and it was like the drummer and guitar player, they just made up music, and I would just scream Barry Manilow lyrics over it, and we called it Scary Manilow, and my backing band was Kill Your Mother, Drink Your Blood. And I thought that nickname would die after high school, and then I went to college, and I actually went to college with Alan and Brian. Brian was the original drummer for Baroness, and Alan was the original drummer. Brian was the guitar player on the Red album, and I went to college with them. Baroness used to practice at our house and everything, and they just started calling me Scary, And so I was like, all right, college thing, fun. And then I moved to Savannah, and I was like, there's no way anybody's... But Baroness had already told everybody that their friend Scary was coming. And so as soon as I moved to Savannah, everybody was like, oh, here's Scary. And like, here I am, 41, and people legitimately call me Scary, and it's just like, all right, I guess you just learn to accept it. And
and then people meet him, and they're like, it happens so much. It's like, you're not so scary.
That's what I was gonna say. So, hey, you're not scary.
Yeah, that's the first thing everybody says. You're not that scary.
What do you think? You think that like made you who you are? It made you be nicer, softer.
Less scary.
No, I'm just like, I am who I am. I'm like Popeye. I am who I am.
Is there any other nicknames in the band that you care to share, or not? There isn't.
We call Derek Baby D.
Yeah, Baby D.
Yeah. Is it because you're new to the band? Or?
I'm also the youngest.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
So, like, you know, I Google things for them.
Yep.
You fact check us.
Yeah, fact check everybody.
Yeah.
I know all the hip lingo. I can translate it for Andrew and James.
Yeah. So, if I was a fly on the wall during the creation process, what would I see? Is it serious, or what's the pace? How does it come to be? What does it look like for creating music?
Creating music?
Yeah.
I think, we kind of take it in, like, puzzle pieces, you know? It's like a big melting pot of ideas. Somebody will bring along, like, one idea. Usually it's multiple. We kind of sift through those. And then we add upon that as we go, as a group, usually is how we always do it. Because we want to have everybody's input and not just have one person come and kind of force their way with their vision specifically. That being said, sometimes you do present things as two parts that are connected, and you can fight a little bit for it. Like, it's like, this needs to go into that. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And then, like, that's, like, to me, that's the best part about being, like, playing with other musicians is, you know, you come in with, like, hey, I have an idea. And then you figure it out together rather than be like, this is what you're going to play, this is what you're going to play. It's like, hey, let's figure this out. Let's write a song together. And it is more of a collaborative piece. And I just saw an interview with Stuart Copeland talking about, like, writing music. And he said, The Police was a lot more fun before Sting knew how to write hits.
Yeah.
Because, like, they actually wrote songs before that. Then he's like, no, here's this is the hit. Yeah. It's like, well, who cares? Let's write songs together. Like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, how did your passion for music start? Would you say?
From birth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, maybe the rhythm of life or something.
Yeah.
But just listening to music at a very young age. You know, both of my parents, you know, were big into music. My dad was a musician. So they were always bopping around at different radio stations, you know. And so I gained an appreciation. You know, I remember the very first time that I wanted to play guitar specifically was when I heard the guitar solo from Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Oh, okay.
The Scorpions. Yeah. I must have been like dawn of consciousness, 3 or 4 years old. And I was like, that sounds like laser beams. Like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
This is very young.
Yeah, my parents never, like, my dad played bass all through college, and there were always guitars around, but he never pushed it on me. And I think it was when I was 14, I actually, like, asked my dad to, like, show me how to, like, read tabs so you could, like, get off the internet and everything. And he was like, yeah, they're just upside down. Just go from there. And so my dad had a 1978 P bass. No, 68. It was a 68 P bass, and that's what I got to learn on. And so I learned playing bass, and then, you know, once I learned about, like, 4-track recording and started playing in bands when I was 15. I was playing out at like regional shows when I was 15 years old.
Yeah. Wow.
And so it's just like, dude, this is awesome. I get to travel. I get to play music to like strangers. This is great. What's better than that? And so then it was just like, I've moved out of towns because the bands I was in was like, hey, are we gonna tour? Are we gonna do this? Okay, well I'm gonna go and like try something else.
Well, from the outside, from the outside in, like it was like freedom, like
yeah. So Agatha, I don't know how to say her name. She looks
Agatha.
Agatha. Sorry, she looks so different in each piece of artwork. And what was she illustrating in this album to you?
So James had a very distinct vision that he kept us out of the loop on. So James discussed the artwork with Mercer directly and excluded us all. He had a very specific vision.
Yeah.
So we didn't even get to see it till it was done.
Yeah.
Which was aggravating a little bit and a little bit just like, please don't let this suck. But I mean, Mercer was doing it. I knew it was going to be good. But so Agatha, what I have come to understand for this one is that it was kind of like the transformation of Agatha from being, a human to the, the Tusk-ridden person that she became.
Okay.
So that's why, like, in the gatefold, so, like, I actually have it here. On the front, she was like this beautiful woman, and then on the inside, she turns into that.
Oh, that's pretty neat.
So,
yeah.
It's
pretty cool. I've liked all the artwork with the tusks. It's pretty cool the way that it's been worked into it to go with the name and everything.
It has been cool to see the interpretation of Agatha from Baisley to Jeremy Clark and then Brian Mercer, like having different artists' interpretations of it over the time. So that's been pretty neat.
Yeah. So I often go to music for different moods that I have, like say I'm angry or I'm excited or whatever. Is there a time when you go to a specific song because you're in a certain mood, or what would that song be?
There's I almost feel like there could be like a song for every mood.
Yeah.
I have like your rainy, cold day songs like Portishead. I would always go to, and the leaves start turning. I used to start turning on Type O Negative. I would always have to listen to that in October. Plenty of stuff like that. And I'm not opposed to, like, when I'm in a good mood, too. Like, I love Bossa Nova and Sergio Mendes type music. Just put that on, open the windows, start cleaning.
Yeah.
I think two records that I could put on anytime, any mood would be Dio, Holy Diver, and Boston by Boston.
Yeah.
Like, you be in a bad mood, it turns you in a good mood. You could be like, I'm in the best mood, it puts you in a better mood. It's like, this is just the best records. I put on Holy Diver the other day, and I sent a picture to Brian Mercer, the guy who did our art. And I was like, dude, putting this on, he said, enjoy the next hour.
Yeah.
Love that.
So just a few questions for fun. So what was your favorite subject in school?
Art and math.
Yeah.
I actually really liked math.
Yeah?
It just made sense to me. It clicked. I like science too. Biology is awesome.
Yeah, I liked any of the sciences. I loved psychology.
Yeah.
And biology. Any of them were good. Yeah. I kind of like passively liked physics, but I'm not great at it.
I hated physics. I was so bad at it.
I just skipped out on that. Physics and biology I didn't do.
Yeah.
All right, so your most embarrassing phone app?
Oh, man.
Pull it out.
Let's see what I have.
Embarrassing phone app.
probably this game called Fishdom. It's like a lot like Candy Crush kind of game. Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh. They like the game mechanics of it was like buying jewels and stuff like that is so bizarre. Like, so you try not to like.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to talk about this game.
That one.
Pizza Hut.
Pizza Hut app.
Yep.
I ate way too much pizza.
I've used it. What's a do-it-yourself fail that you did musically?
Do-it-yourself fail.
I would say a fail and success has been building out the studio.
Yeah.
Because for the first year, I was like, I shouldn't have done this. I just put in a lot of money and like, it doesn't sound that good. But I'm finally starting to make bands sound good in here, and I'm getting better at what I do. But yeah, it was all like, I designed the studio. I had Andrew, so Andrew runs a construction company, and so I was starting to like frame the back wall, and I was like, if I do this all by myself, it's going to take me months to do. So I was like, Andrew, get your dudes in here. Let's just do this in like a week.
Yeah.
And so they came in, they did the framing and the insulation, and then my dad and some other people came in and helped me do all the drywall. I did all the electrical. So this is a total DIY space, but yeah, I would say it is just as much as a success as a failure.
Yeah.
I know what I would do differently if I had to do it again.
Yeah. I heard you say too before that you try not to be a perfectionist when you're working on the recordings and that. Do you find that difficult with other bands, or do you find it's more with have you found your way of doing that with everyone, or is it more with just your own music or whatever?
I feel like the people that I record with, and Black Tusk included, we're all like, people overanalyze, and to have somebody that just says, hey, this is the sound, let's go.
Yeah.
And you don't that is kind of the mentality of analog recording back in the day. It's like you could sit there, like now you have so many options and digital options, and you can say, all right, well, we can fiddle with this and like redo it 1,000 times. But if you just say, all right, how was that take? Okay, yeah, I feel good about it, let's move on. And then I feel good about the guitar sound, I feel good about the drum sound. And you just commit and you move on, and you don't overanalyze, and you just like commit to the sound, and you say, this is going to be what it is. Because to me, that's what recording is. It's a sonic footprint of the audio or the sound that's coming out at that moment, and it's going to sound different, based on what you have for breakfast. So you can do it 1,000 times, and it's going to sound different. Yeah. And it's just like letting it be and moving on, and just committing to the sound.
That makes sense. It's probably more relaxed for people that are doing the music as well, because you often hear of people having such a stressful time when they're recording. Like, it's just so stressful because you're hammering it for so long, the same part or whatever. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, and you can listen to the same part and just go ear blind, and that's why it's good to take breaks. And I limit people to 8 hours a day, and say, all right, well let's break for the day, go home. We'll listen to it first thing in the morning and see what we want to change. And, it's good to, pace yourself and not push yourself too hard. But yeah, at least to me, people that record here say that they have a great time, and they leave here a lot faster than they think they would with something that they're very proud of. So
that's good. Yeah. So, a couple more questions. If there were 25 hours in a day, what would you do with that extra hour?
Write more music.
Yeah.
You would let people record 9 hours, Scary?
Yeah, I'd maybe give people an extra hour.
Yeah.
I do love hanging out here, and I love creating, but
you have to charge them for it too.
It's really fun having when Derek comes out, because we just get a little ridiculous and just just Derek brings all these wacky instruments, and I've got slide whistles and weird shit, and we just say, hey, what can we do with this weird sound? And like we have record players and we'll like put our hand on and slow it down and like synthesizers and just
you could hear the product of those sorts of nights, like on the new record.
Yeah.
There's a lot of segues from song to song, and that's just like stuff we were goofing off with.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Derek and I had a full day of just like, let's just have fun in the studio and just lock ourselves in, shut everybody out, and just have fun, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it. So
try to make the album flow together a little bit.
Yeah.
Stitch it up.
Leave some good memories of it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, thank you very much for meeting with me, and I wish you success with the album and good time. So, yeah, I'll let you go.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, appreciate it. Cool.
Take care. Have a good rest of your night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.